Hey, Hotshot guys. Anybody with a flatbed trailer with drum brakes, Dexter axles, Lipperts, same kind of deal. Today, we're doing trailer brakes. It's a lot of fun. It's actually not that hard. So, I didn't clean any of this up. I just changed the oil on those. You know, you have to spin that off, drain all the oil out, pop that little cap, screw it back on there, fill her up, cap back on, axle oil change. Should do that every, I don't know, every time you change oil in the truck. I haven't. I've been kind of slacking, but you know, is what it is. So whatever. So need to do trailer brakes, right? Do you get this dreaded message on your dash? If you do, you're gonna need that over there. Let's walk over there. All right, so I've already got pretty much everything done. I forgot to grab the camera, so I was like, yeah, screw it. I'll just do this last one, right? Two ways of doing this. You can just replace the magnet, which 99.9% of the time, this is your problem, right? This rides against the inside of the drum and somehow magically tells this to, you know, expand and contract, right? So I tested mine, you know, I just put the ohm meter on them and my back two axles weren't working. So kind of a newer problem. Past week or so I've been gotten that message on the dash, trailer disconnected as I'm driving, and then it says reconnected, trailer connected. It's really obnoxious. So I bought these and they are labeled left and right. So I've already done the right side. So what you do, get your wheels off, drain your oils, which I've already done, and then you got to bust a nut. That's right, you got to bust a nut. Actually, you got to pop these little tabs out, right? Bend those tabs out. That unscrews fairly easily. I did the other side by hand, tightened it up with a wrench. So you got this nut, you got that lock washer, you got another nut behind it, and then another washer, and then you just wiggle it off. So let's get this wiggled off of here and I'll show you what's underneath. All right. Okay, here we go. So this was on there awfully tight. I had to get a big wrench to get this off of here. I like to put them in order, that way I don't screw it up. So you got that one. You got this little dealio. Put that in the orientation it came off of. See, and I haven't touched it, right? It spins right off of there. Now your hands are gonna smell like gear oil unless you put gloves on, but put gloves on and then they get cut and then your hands smell like gear oil anyway. And then you got this little keyed washer. And then there you go. Now comes the wonderful task that I'm gonna spare you the pleasure of watching me try to get this thing off of here. But pull the whole thing off. Careful, this bearing's gonna come out just like old school drum brakes, right? Let's see if it's gonna cooperate or if it's gonna fight. So I don't know if you saw that, but this already moved out. See if this wants to come out. And there you go. Catch that so you don't smash it up. And that has some metal shavings in it. That's not good. We will investigate that here in a second. And now, this drum is very heavy. So, it's gonna leak oil everywhere. And there you go. And how do you know when your brake magnets are bad? It's because of the way it is. So the wiring, here's the wire. Yeah. So you can just replace this, or to get the wiring out, because it goes behind this deal, instead of disassembling the entire thing, just replace the whole damn thing. Now the magnets themselves are 40 or 50 bucks. The brakes, if you get them from, you know, that Jungle website that never delivers on time when they say they are, they're like 250 bucks a set. So I got about 108,000 miles on these brakes. Lots of life left on them, but I gotta take it apart anyway to replace the magnet. I'm just gonna put new brakes on it. Alright, so I've wiped it all down. Spindle looks pretty damn good. Threads are all good. I mean, like I said, this trailer's got about 108,000 miles on it. So what we're gonna do, there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 on each side and 1 on the bottom. So there's 7 bolts, right? This side is a 5/8. The back side is an 11/16. You know, because that makes sense. So I'm gonna use the good old Harbor Freight Hercules. This thing is badass. We're gonna bust these off right quick, and I'll disconnect the wire on the back side. Pull this off, we'll slap the new one on there. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Lemonade sounds good right about now. Where's my wife? I need a fresh lemonade. Lots of ice. It's only 108 and humid. Yeah. Do this in air conditioning or in the shade if you have the option. Another helpful tip. Alright, give it a little persuasion, rubber mallet, and she comes right off of there. Good old Dexter's. So I'll hit this with a little brake clean real quick, put the other one on, reverse process. Doesn't go as fast, it's a little bit slower because you got to get it all lined up, and you know, everything's got to be happy. You don't just spit on it, push it in the hole like usual, fellas. This one takes a little, you gotta caress it, you gotta whine it and dine it, and then she'll go right in there. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, most of the time. Probably. Let's get after it. There you go. Now, next order of business is I just cut this factory connector off, and I'm going to add it to the other brakes. Alright, they give you a lot of wire, right? You don't necessarily need all that. So what I'm going to do, strip this back just a little bit. I don't need a whole hell of a lot because I'm doing it the nice, smart way. You can do whatever you want. Butt connectors, twisty ties, you know, those little orange things you took off your house. If you want to use that, I mean, that's on you. That's I don't think DOT's too happy with that. But hey, whatever. You know, you do you. If that works for you, and you're in neck of the woods, that's how that works. Then that's how that works. But for me, I've had pretty good luck with these little heat 'em ups dealios. They're butt connectors, but they're solder connectors. You just heat them up and they seal, and then they solder. Again, pick these up off that Jungle website. These dealios. Now, there's many different types, but this is the type that I bought. Hotshottrucking. Yeah, that's it's an old Chinese proverb. It says easy cowboy, I think is what it means. So you just stick these in here like so. Usually they'll push each other apart. And then get your heat gun or your spider killer like this one. Oh man. This is my Black Widow Destroyer 3000. Picked her up at Lowe's. Just add a little heat to it. The smart guy will put that over there. And don't get it so hot that you burn your trailer or your fingers. Like I'm doing currently, burning my fingers because, you know, that's what a guy does sometimes. And as it gets hot, it shrinks and solders and then melts everything around it. Okay, they are a little crispy. They are tight, right? They're sealed. They don't even want to move. That's perfect. So those are now connected. I'm going to push it all back into here with this little melty part that I put in there. Oops. And that way it'll be double safe, protected-ish. Just like so. Get every man's best tool, the zip tie. I have a lot of these. I made a mistake one day on that jungle site. I bought some. I needed some. I was out. I got 2,000. I thought I was getting 200. Oops. And now I'll never run out. Alright, so this is just going to be the reverse of what we did. Make sure you put your dust shield on, proper orientation, because you'll get it all together. And then realize the bolts don't reach. You gotta take it all back apart and do it all over again. And you feel kind of stupid. It's never happened to me. I mean, I heard that's what happens. Yeah, right. You're not believing a word I say. I got it. I wouldn't either. All right. So now we just put this on here, like so. Kind of look at the holes, and I'm sure there's probably a gooder way to do this. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put this through the hole. Start fishing some of these bolts through these holes. Kind of wiggle it. That one went in. Now, will this one go in? I always kind of start at the top and let it hang. Sometimes you got to get that angle of the dangle just right. Okay, those are on there. I'm going to lightly thread these nuts on with the lock washers so they don't fall off on my face. Alright, so something I want to tell everybody about before we put this drum back on here. You see this little gear right here? Well, you need this tool, right? This little dandy bent piece of metal. Backside you have these two little holes, right? This hole and this hole right here. This goes in here, and from the side you can actually watch how this works. This is your adjustment, right? So this goes up in here. Sorry, dropped you. And you just adjust your brakes out. So by turning it up, you're expanding the brakes, right? Once we put the drum back on, I'm gonna get down here behind this and I'm gonna spin this and it's gonna move this out, right? So you have a little bit of drag, you know, because the drum brakes should drag just, you know, a little bit. I already did the other side. So as soon as I put this drum on here, tighten her up, we'll get her adjusted, put the wheels on, and I'll back it into the backyard, and I'll call it a day. Ugh. Now these are light. They only weigh, you know, half a bajillion pounds. this up without squishing my nuts. There we go. Okay, I was very gentle. You kind of hear a little drag. That'll stop once I put the nut and washer back on there. Clean this up. So just very gently. Should just kind of go up in there like so. Put your key little doohickey thingy majigger in there. Just get that in there till it's snug. Keep going. Now we're getting to about where it should be. Preload. Okay. So I'm going to put that back on there. Oh. Maybe not. See, I didn't bend those other tabs, so I kind of know the way it was. So then that should just go back on there. Kind of like that. Just like so. I'll spin that one on there. Now, is this the right tool? No. But it's what I got, so it's what I'm using. At some point, it will be right where it needs to be, and I think that's it right there. So that's that. Okay, I need to bend these little tabs, and we're done. All right, I am gonna put the tires on real fast, and then I'll put the plastic cap back on, fill it full of oil, and then we'll adjust in brakes. Be back in just a minute. All right, wheels are on. So before I start spinning this thing, I know, I probably should have hosed it all off and cleaned it up, but I'll do that later. So I got the plastic cap back on. Some of you got aluminum, whatever. I got plastic ones. I ordered some fresh ones from that Jungle website. It's supposed to be here between 4 and 8. It's like 10:30 in the morning. They're out here. So, you know, that checks out. So, I'm gonna just put some oil in here. And you're supposed to go until that bottom little indentation, this bottom ring, right? They want you to be right here. Now, you do you. I go to here. I go to just at the bottom, because too little oil is gonna cause you all kinds of problems. Too much, it ain't gonna cause you no problems. It's better to have a little too much than it is not to have enough. So I always err on the side of caution. And you can, I don't know if you can see that with this camera and this lighting, but I fill it up till it gets pretty close. Just wait, and then it'll go down. I'll put that little plug back in here in just a second, and then we will start adjusting the brakes. All right, I'm gonna plug in, probably just out of view, plug in these wires to here. I'll zip tie them up real fast, and we'll get to adjusting. All right, now, might be hard to hear, no resistance. So, because we have this inside dual, I'm going to take this end, stick it in there, feel that little star deal, and it should. There we go. Because they're new, I'm going to crank on them a little bit. Now this could take a little while. There we go. Maybe even a bit too far, so I'll back it off. Can you hear it drag? Can you hear it? All right, we're adjusted. So now, yeah. So now if the dealer tells you, oh, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars, say, nah, dude, I got this. Order the parts, do it yourself. Hotshot guys, rates are not where they need to be. So if you can save $1, or in this case, $500 or $600, do it. And it's just taking me a couple hours. And yeah, I'm dirty. Yeah, it sucks. It's hot. But I'm at home. Could be worse. Could be out on the road. Could be in a truck stop where everybody pees on the ground. You know what I'm talking about. So, all right, let me get cleaned up. I'll hook the truck up. I'll back this puppy back in. I think we're going to be calling it a day.